ይሄ ቀይ ባህር ነው። ይሄ ደግሞ አባይ ነው። ኢትዮጵያ ማለት እዚህ ውስጥ ነው ያለችው። ይሄኛው ውሃ ይመለከትሻል፣ ይሄኛው ውሃ አይመለከትሽም ብትላት አይሰራም። ኔቸር እንደዛ አይልም።
That's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed speaking about Ethiopia's right to the Red Sea. The only thing in the way, this strip of coastal land, Eritrea. Here are Ethiopian soldiers at a military parade in Addis Ababa chanting, "The sea is ours, the ship is ours." Although Ahmed later kind of walked back his comments.
የማንንም ሉዓላዊነት የመንካት ፍላጎት የለንም። ማንንም የመውረር ፍላጎት የለንም። በቢዝነስ ህግ ግን የማያወላዳ ምርጫ እንፈልጋለን።
A lot of people are still wondering whether Ethiopia and Eritrea could be heading for a war. Well, it wouldn't be their first time given their complex history. Ethiopia is Africa's oldest independent country and stems from the Abyssinian Empire. The Italians colonized Eritrea in the late 19th century. From there, Mussolini's forces unsuccessfully attempted to invade Ethiopia under Emperor Haile Selassie for 30 years. Italy withdrew its rights and titles to African territories after World War II, and in 1952 the Federation of Ethiopia and Eritrea was formed. Ethiopia, with its longer history of independence, bigger landmass and diversity, took a leading role. Eritrea was not happy with this arrangement, and the separatist Eritrean Liberation Front formed to fight Ethiopian rule. That's when Ethiopia scrapped the federation and annexed Eritrea. The ELF kept up its activities in the Eritrean War of Independence. But in 1974 Emperor Haile Selassie was ousted by the Derg in a Marxist military coup and went into exile. Groups fighting the Derg like the now EPLF and the Tigray People's Liberation Front were eventually successful in 1991. Ethiopia came under a federal system under the EPRDF, a coalition of all these federal groups that gave Eritrea the chance to secede in a referendum which it took with 99.83% of the vote. Many saw the secession as an affront to the territorial integrity of the Ethiopian state. Both countries had border disputes, particularly in the Tigray region which lies next to Eritrea. They went to war over this in 1998. In 2000, the parties agreed to end the war. This involved setting up a border commission that in 2002 produced its findings, giving Eritrea one Tigrayan village. TPLF was staunchly opposed to this, and so Ethiopia rejected it. Until 2018. That's when Abiy Ahmed came into power as a reformist opposed to Ethiopia's federal policy, campaigning to unify the country in centralized power. He improved female representation in parliament and released political prisoners. He also approved the findings of the commission, ushering peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Meanwhile, Eritrea under President Isaias Afwerki had been on its path of dictatorship. Its conflict with Ethiopia led to the forced military conscription of males and females. Ahmed initially got a lot of support from his ethnicity, the Oromo, the largest in Ethiopia. But he soon began turning on them, purging Oromo nationalists from the government. Tensions also rose with the TPLF, who were not happy with Abiy's intention to do away with federalism and accept the commission findings. It came to a head in 2020 when war erupted between the TPLF and Ethiopia. Eritrean forces got involved and together with the Ethiopian army committed mass atrocities against the Tigrayans, including rape and massacres. Abiy did this through backing from Ethiopian and Amhara nationalists, another of Ethiopia's various ethnic groups. By 2022, it had become obvious that Abiy's plan to unite the country had failed. He had picked fights with three major ethnic groups, and the economy and security apparatus were on the brink of collapse. So he made a U-turn. He attempted peace with the Oromo, and he signed the Pretoria Peace Agreement with the TPLF. But this was nothing more than window dressing, which also angered the Eritreans, Amharas, and the nationalists he had allied himself with and made political promises to in return for support during the war. Needless to say, the Eritreans didn't honor the terms of the Pretoria Agreement, which required they quit fighting and leave the Tigray region. When he ordered the demilitarization of all regional special forces, it triggered fresh conflict with Amhara regional groups. This brings us to now, where the tides are shifting again to irredentism. Ethiopia has set its sights on reclaiming a Red Sea port as part of nostalgia for Abyssinian imperial history. The interesting thing is this may be the one move of Abiy's that will have a lot of domestic support. It's been a pretty vital goal for all governments except for the EPRDF to reclaim Eritrea as Ethiopian territory. Do you think it should be one?